What's up, St. Louis? It's your host, Luke Farrell of the STL Bucket List Show. The STL Bucket List Show is driven by Bomarito Automotive Group. Bomarito is Missouri's #1 car dealership with over 20 locations, so I guarantee that there's one in your neighborhood. Since the 1970s, Bomarito has sold over 1 million cars, and John and the entire team made us feel completely comfortable when we picked up our new vehicle recently for the family. So I can't thank the Bomarito team enough for driving this episode forward, and enjoy the show.
If you want to hear about St. Louis, tune in to the Bucket List Show weekly. Hear what Marissa and Luke say. It drops every Wednesday. Got a dope new guest every single week. Buckle up for the ride. Who's it gonna be? Who's on the show today? They rep St. Louis. What to do in the loo on a late night, or maybe what to do on a date night. Yeah, Bucket List has you covered. They know what's going on. What's going on? They'll give you, 18 different things to do, or 19 if you need one more to choose. Yeah, this city is a place we call home. A place we call home. Yeah.
St. Louis, it's your host, Luke Farrell of the STL Bucket List Show. We're back with episode 158, and we're so close to spring in St. Louis. It's my absolute favorite time of the year. We have a couple big things happening in our personal life. We are days away from welcoming our second child. And also the Bucket List Creative STL Bucket List team just closed on a new building. So we can't wait to share some more info about our new office and really just continue to grow and highlight the people, places, and events that make St. Louis special. Without further ado, I have a solo episode planned for you guys. I said spring is my favorite time of the year, so I put together a list of 25 things to do and really cool bucket list activities to do this spring. So I'm going to keep it real brief with you guys. I'm going to give you some ideas on how to get out and continue to explore St. Louis. Some of these are really well known, things that you might have done in the past that you need to do again. And I do have a couple unique things that you might not have checked off your bucket list. So to kick it off, before we get into it, I want to give love to our partners and our listeners. Bomarito Automotive Group over the last year has been such a great partner, allowing us to continue this podcast. Of course, our friends over at Four Hands Brewing Company, you see some of their citywide lights on the table, the best light beer in St. Louis, great to drink in the spring. And then, of course, our friends over at First Community Credit Union, they're our business banker, and it really couldn't have asked for a better partner, especially when navigating our small business and growing and buying real estate. They've been great, but they also offer amazing home loans and auto loans, and of course, checking accounts for both kids and adults. So definitely a great partner. So yeah, guys, I'm going to get right into it. So we have our St. Louis spring bucket list with 25 activities, starting it off with one of my absolute favorites. It's the cherry blossoms at the Missouri Botanical Garden. Every spring, the Japanese garden at Mobot bursts into color with breathtaking cherry blossoms. Don't miss the koi ponds and peaceful walkways, and it's an absolute bucket list experience for you to check off, and perfect in the spring when it's not too hot. Second, we're going to go to the St. Louis Zoo and see the baby animals. Spring is baby season at the zoo, so spot newborns like the lion cubs, the penguins, giraffe calves, while enjoying mild weather so you can walk around the entire park. And of course, ride the train if you got kiddos, or even if you don't have kids. The train is always an awesome experience to go all the way through the entire park. One of my favorite things to do down at Union Station, something that a lot of people just do once, but I continue to do because you get some of the best views of St. Louis, and that's ride the St. Louis wheel. You get a bird's eye view of downtown. You get 200 feet high, and I like to go at sunset because I get to see the best skyline views. I talked about Four Hands Brewing Company. There's nothing better than beer and a patio and sunshine. They have a bunch of patios you can enjoy them at now. Their new location in Kirkwood. If you're in West County, the district has the hub there with an amazing stage. They got live music all the time. And I love going down to their downtown location before a Cardinals game. You get to go down there. You get to park for a little bit less expensive. You get a beer. And they're known for being a pint away from the ballpark. So you can walk to the ballpark from Four Hands and drink a pint while you do it. So that is definitely one of my favorite spring activities. A cool thing for my outdoors people, go hike at Castlewood State Park. I think we take it for granted. The stunning river views, lush greenery, the bluffs, the trails. It's a local favorite for hikers and also mountain bikers. And I know a lot of people are getting into biking. So that's a great park for you to check off your STL bucket list. We got to talk about Forest Park. The flowers start to bloom in Forest Park, and it's one of the most beautiful places in the entire country. It was ranked the #1 park by USA Today. And a lot of the places that we talk about are in the park, like the zoo, the Missouri History Museum, the St. Louis Art Museum, and of course, just walking through the park. It's a free activity for you to check off of your bucket list. And it's one of the coolest places to go bring a camera, take some pictures. It's amazing. I love Forest Park in the spring and also the fall and also all year long, especially sledding at Art Hill. Another good thing to do, guys, is attend a spring concert. St. Louis they have some good concerts this year. You got Hollywood outside Amphitheater. You have the Enterprise Center downtown. And then, one of the most iconic venues in the entire nation, the Muni. You got to go check out a show at the Muni. It's unbelievable. They got some big name artists coming this year. So spring is packed with live music events. We talked about sunrises and sunsets. A unique thing to check off your bucket list is watch the sunrise from the Gateway Arch grounds. You set your alarm early, you take a peaceful sunrise over the Mississippi River that reflects right off the water. We just posted a video on social media last week that kind of shows you it. So it's really cool. I never thought about getting down there at sunrise, but had a couple people send us some videos, and it's definitely something I'm adding to my spring bucket list. Another thing is the Lamar Sculpture Park. You could walk around. This is a great activity for kids. The amazing sculptures at Lamar. Enjoy the fresh air of art and nature. It's two of the best things in the world. You have art, you have nature, and you can take the whole family there. They have a lot of events happening this year, so take a look at their event calendar. It's definitely an amazing place to add to your bucket list. For my golfers out there, we talked about Forest Park. It's an amazing time to get some golf rounds in. It's not hot like the summer, so you can go there. And for my rec guys and girls, you guys can go over to Top Golf. That's always an amazing time with a big group of friends or a work party. And then I love kayaking and paddleboarding at Creve Coeur Lake. Marissa and I usually do this every Memorial Day. It's one of those traditions for us, but you go down there, you rent a kayak, and you can go out on the lake. It's absolutely beautiful. Enjoy the water. And it's the ideal way to kick off the warm season. One of my other favorites, of course, is Tower Grove Farmers Market, or really any farmers market for that matter. Spring brings a lot of produce, fresh flowers, local makers. They have live music at a lot of these events, and they even have people cooking on spot, so you can get breakfast there while you shop, and coffee. So the Tower Grove Farmers Market, probably one of the coolest events in St. Louis. There's a reason that it's grown so big, and it's really an amazing thing to do on a Saturday morning or a Tuesday night. So keep an eye out on Tower Grove Farmers Market. You can look at their upcoming schedule. And then, of course, we have to do a picnic at Art Hill. Shout out Mom's Deli. I know Mom's Deli is getting ready to close their location, but it was really one of our favorite things to do is to go to Mom's Deli, get a mom's or dad's special, go to Art Hill, and just have an amazing time listening to music or just reading and having a picnic. Bring a blanket. It gets a little cold later at night. And then the ultimate bucket list, guys. St. Louis Cardinals are back March 27th. You got to go to a game at Busch Stadium in the spring. Cheer on the Redbirds, get a cold beer, get a hot dog. It's the absolute, ideal way to spend a spring night. For my campers, I know we talked about Castlewood. I like glamping. You can get outdoors, you can reconnect with nature, whether you prefer a tent or a cozy cabin. A good spot to add to your bucket list is Babbler State Park, for those that like to glamp or camp. I love camping in the spring because it gets nice and chilly at night. You could start a fire. And then I love biking too. I grew up in St. Charles. Biking on the KD Trail was always a bucket list event for the entire family. The scenic trail is perfect for a leisure ride. You can stop by breweries, wineries on the way for a well-earned break when you deserve a drink and you want to take a break. So I think that's an amazing thing to do. And then, of course, wine country. We talk about it on Instagram all the time, but St. Louis is known for its rich culture and wine country. We have one of the best out in Augusta and Defiance. So spring is prime time for winery hopping. You can get a party bus. You can go around. Some of our favorites include Noble Ice. Their vineyard is amazing. We've had both of them on the podcast before. But there's nothing like wine next to some water in wine country. It's quiet, and you get to sip on local wines. And who doesn't love to drink wine on a spring day? So that'll be amazing. Another thing, guys, take a day trip. We always talk about taking day trips, adding that to our bucket list. So take a day trip. One of the coolest spots over there at Elephant Rock State Park. You can climb on massive granite boulders, take in the scenic views, and it's a great spot for our families out there that you can take the whole family, exhaust some energy so that they can sleep on the way back home. And then this event is actually inside, but there's really nothing like a show at the Fabulous Fox Theater. It's one of those iconic St. Louis spaces that never gets old. Doesn't matter if you've seen the show before or if it's a new one coming to town. Check the Fabulous Fox, the Broadway shows and concerts, and make a night out of it and go to dinner and make a whole night out of it. So that's 20 things to do in St. Louis. I picked a couple more unique ideas to add to your bucket list, and I'm going to go through those now. So one of my favorite local whiskeys is our friends over at Switchgrass Spirits. It's a small batch distillery in North St. Louis. It specializes in handcrafted bourbon and rye. You can book a tour with them and try those unique spirits. So you don't have to go to Kentucky. You can go to North St. Louis and enjoy Switchgrass Spirits, which has been really crushing it in the whiskey and rye game. And it's a really cool experience if you want to do a tasting tour. I mean, who doesn't want to taste some great whiskey? Another one, which we have, and we've done some videos out there, is explore the Cahokia Mounds and climb Monk's Mound. This mound is not for the weak to climb. You're going to run out of breath climbing it. It's a ton of steps. Super fun. You get to look all the way across the mound, and you can see all the way across into downtown St. Louis. And you get a great history of the Cahokia Mounds. So it's a mix of history and exercise, and you get some great views all in one. So definitely a spot to add to your bucket list. Another underrated bucket list spot this spring is attend a So Far Sound secret concert. These intimate pop-up concerts happen in unexpected St. Louis locations. You won't know the artist or the venue until the day of. Super spontaneous way, great date night, great bucket list adventure. Route 66, obviously you guys know, if you're in St. Louis, you know the history of Route 66. Just drive down it. You know, if you got windows down, drive down Route 66, follow the famous highway through, stop at historic diners, neon signs, and stunning street art murals along the way. One of the new spots I'm checking off my bucket list this year is the Beekeeper Cider Mill in Florissant. This under-the-radar cidery specializes in honey-infused ciders made with local ingredients, and it's perfect for a springtime sip. I love local honey. That's going to be a great way to check it off your bucket list this year. And then Cherokee Street. Authentic Mexican food. Eat your way through Cherokee Street. Shop at some of the amazing local vendors. Cherokee is one of the most budding districts in St. Louis. We see tons of small businesses getting their start there. So eat your way through Cherokee's authentic Mexican food scene and try out some local vendors while you're there as well. Definitely some of the best Mexican food you can find in all of the city. And then last but not least, my wife who's not here, this is her favorite. See a Shakespeare play at Shakespeare Festival in Forest Park. One of the ultimate bucket list things to do in the spring. The Shakespeare Festival brings free outdoor theater to one of the most beautiful parks in the country, and it's definitely a spot that you need to add to your bucket list. So if you guys want to see this full list of 25 things to do in the spring in St. Louis, head over to our website. We're going to drop a blog. We're also going to put a post on social media with a few of these things, but share this episode with your family, with your significant other, and keep exploring St. Louis. And we're going to continue to highlight the people, places, and events that make St. Louis special. And we'll see you guys next week. Thank you.
Today they rep St. Louis, yeah. They rep St. Louis. They rep St. Louis.